Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast. Today, we're going to be just talking Amazon FBA, talking shop with Kevin King. So we're going to go over some tips, updates, and just what's going on with Amazon right now. So Kelsey, hit the music.
Lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm.
Okay, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about news, updates, and more from the Amazon world with Kevin King. As you know, Kevin's a repeat guest. He comes back usually monthly. He mentors sellers collectively and does over $500 million US per year with his Freedom Ticket and Helium 10 Elite Mastermind Group. He also organized, and this is coming up tomorrow, the $1 Billion Seller Summit, and he is a regular on the podcast. So we all know, welcome. Is it Monday, Friday? I am screwing this up royally. We will be welcoming Kevin in a second, but first, let's hear from our sponsor. As you know, at Lunch with Norm, bigger is always better. Bigger business, bigger profits, and yes, bigger lunches. Z wants to make sure that your business and profits are bigger by taking you and your business international. They are a one-stop importer of record shop, including compliance and logistics services. They focus on all the elements involved in a smooth first-time custom clearance so that you can focus on what you're good at, selling. Click on the screen now or follow the link in the description box below and get 50% off your first shipment today. There we go. All right, Kels, where are you?
Hello.
Look at that plant. There we go.
This is my little Monstera here. And yeah.
You're a little Monstera.
Watch yourself.
Okay, I can tell stories.
But welcome everyone. Welcome Rad, DK, Kim, Manny. It's great to see everyone. How is everyone's weekend? What did you guys get up to? Let us know in the comment sections. As you guys know, this is Lunch with Norm, and we start off by smashing those like buttons, giving us a thumbs up, and getting this thing started. So this one, Kevin and Norm kind of get into a whole bunch of different things usually. This is go down different rabbit holes. So if you have any questions in particular that you need help with your Amazon or e-commerce business, let us know in the comment sections, and we'll do kind of a Q&A session for the second half of the show. So yeah, let us know what's going on. If you had any issues, if things are going well, you can share your successes too in the comment sections. And I think that's it. If you're new to the show, you can join our community over at Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce collective. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very good. As Kelsey was saying, Kevin and I go on through a bunch of different rabbit holes. So if you do have questions, comments, just throw them over in that comment section. We'd be happy to answer them. Get them in now, because usually the questions fill up and we don't get to them all. And on that note, sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and welcome Kevin.
What's up? How you doing, Norm?
I am doing great. I guess you're excited about tomorrow.
Yeah, I am. But you're all relaxed. Look at you. You're like all chilled and relaxed. You just came off a cruise. You got the tan lines going. Kelsey's got the plants. I don't even know if they're legal in
I don't think so. I don't think they're legal.
It didn't have three little wings. It had 6. So I don't know. Maybe they're legal.
Those are on steroids. That's what.
Did you have some good cigars on that cruise?
I did. So those of you that know or follow me at all know that I love cigars. I did get a couple of cases of Cohibas, and I went to a cigar factory with Connie, and I was in heaven. I got to test out all these different cigars. They were just handing them out. Bought a couple more cases, and now my humidors are back to full. So it's good. It's good. And I found a couple of things I did not know. This isn't the the Lunch with Norm cigar podcast, but I found out a couple of really cool things about smoking a cigar that I didn't know from these guys. So I'll when we get together again, I'll show you some of these tricks. But anyways, you're here. You're in Austin. Everything's good in the US. Everything's not so good up here. We're making do. But first of all, it's cold. Everything else political, I'm going to leave on the table. So how you been, Kevin?
I've been busy, man. I've been keeping busy with everything, but it's always a good time. Money never sleeps, you know.
Money never sleeps. Yeah, just like you. So Amazon, what's going on right now in the world of Kevin King and Amazon? Anything exciting? There's always something exciting.
Wrapping up one of my that I've talked about this before. I have a calendar business. It's a seasonal. And that thing has extra legs this year. It's still selling. We're usually by this time we're sales at Peter, but we're still doing $400 a day. $300.
Are you talking about in February?
Yeah, right now, like yesterday. Yeah, it's still people. I don't know. Normally, a lot of times I sold out, and we are sold out of a couple titles.
Yeah,
we have one or two left, and I've lowered the price. Just trying to get rid of them, and I don't know if people are still buying them. So it's making me think, like, you know what? Maybe I should sell these things year round, even if it's a few $100 a day versus thousands of dollars a day during the peak season. Maybe you should do that. And got my other company that's talked about doing the one of my other companies that does the licensing deal with Body Glove. We're finally got some issues resolved there.
Oh, thank God.
Inventory that shipped last May got held up in Chicago, in the rail yard in Chicago. We finally got it in late December. So that really messed up some stuff. And then as soon as we got it all up, Amazon decided to suspend the account.
What?
Saying that, not the account, sorry, suspend the listing. It's got like five variations on different sizes. So 5 ASINs went down, and they said, we're not authorized to sell this because Body Glove is a protected brand. They're brand gated on Amazon, not just brand registered, but brand gated.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we're fully authorized. We've already gone through this with brand registry. We've already got the letters, the documents. So we had to get on the phone with Body Glove and say, hey, we need another letter from you guys that shows that our UPCs are authorized, blah, blah, blah. So they gave it to us within hours. Body Glove did. It'd be an official letter, and then we sent that to Amazon. It took them close to a month to unlock it, even after having that. And finally, they said, "Oh, well, okay. I guess you're fine." So that's been a mess. Luckily, it's not the season for people. It's a dog life jacket. It's one of our first products, so it's not the season right now, but it's about to be. So we're about to start the ramp up to start doing some influencer stuff. But yeah, that's always fun dealing with Amazon. Yeah, and then I. One of my other Amazon accounts that we did a case study at the $1 Billion Seller Summit last year. I think you might have saw about Germshark, the sanitizer company that we lost over $1 billion on, and I'm still paying for that right now. We had a seller's funding loan as part of that, and we closed that company down. But every 2 weeks, out of my pocket, I got to pay $7,500 cash out of my personal pocket every 2 weeks until that thing is taken care of. Because seller funding, you have to personally guarantee those loans. So that's always a lot of fun, just to write that check off and send that away. But interesting story on that is to add a fire to the misery. I go into my credit union last week to do some business at the credit union, and I needed to make some withdrawals and these cashier's checks and stuff like that. So I go inside. They said, you got to come inside. You can't do this through the drive-thru. So I go inside, sitting there waiting for them to verify everything. And I look on the counter right next to me, and there's some hand sanitizer. And I'm like, oh, cool. Let me, just clean my hands. I've been touching money and whatever. Turn over. It's our product.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, wait a second. And I start looking around the bank, and I see like all the loan officers, everywhere. It's everywhere in the bank, like every desk and stuff. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And so I don't know where it came from, how they got it. I don't know if someone donated to them, if they bought it, but we liquidated $1 million of inventory. Basically gave it away, not even like give us a dime for it, just come take it, it's free, because we couldn't get rid of it. We had to get rid of it out of our warehouse. So someone took a bunch of it and is now selling it. So I'm sitting here, it was painful because I'm sitting here writing a $7,500 well, it's not a check, but $7,500 is coming out of our account every 2 weeks, and here's the product.
And there's that knife.
A knife in the back. I'm like, Jesus, Amazon. It's all Amazon's fault. I mean, that was a saturated market. It's like fidget spinners in the back days or hoverboards.
Yeah.
It's something that you shouldn't do. There's one going on right now with transparent Post-it notes. That's becoming a big hot thing right now. But I would stay far away from that.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's skyrocketed up. Some TikTok video just skyrocketed. They've been around forever, but so there's people that were positioned that were doing a couple grand a month on these things. They're all of a sudden doing 100 grand plus a month. If they have the inventory.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people coming into it. But I wouldn't touch that. But yeah, so it's all Amazon. If Amazon wouldn't have messed with us as bad as they did, even though we did everything right, we could probably still be selling a lot of this stuff. But it's just a stab in the back. But that doesn't deter me. I've lost a lot of money. People say it's this Amazon thing. Is it time to move on, do something else? No, the opportunities are still good. Even you win some, you lose some. It sucks to lose, over $1 million. It wasn't all my money, but I'm losing 6 figures personally.
Right.
That's part of business.
But Kevin, when you're talking about this, we've talked about it a lot on the podcast with you, and it's knowing when to stop, that's it. Like I know Germshark, we've talked about it even way before it was even launched, and it was great. You guys put everything into it. It was a perfect brand, and it wasn't the brand, it was Amazon, the algorithm that messed you guys up. So there's nothing you can do. You could have continued on with the brand. You could have continued and tried to weigh it out, but you had to cut bait, even though this bait was very expensive. But you had to quit and you had to cut it off fast because you knew, and I'm speaking on behalf of you, but you knew that if you continued to do this, it would just be ongoing issues with Amazon. So
we had everything right, with that.
Yeah.
We had someone, we weren't just dealing with seller support. We had a guy I could pick up his cell phone that worked, account rep at Amazon, and call him and say, hey,
Jeff.
Our listener, no one's Jeff, no, but it is a guy named Bondi. And I just call up, his name was Bondi, Bondy. I said, Bondi, the listing just went down. He's like, gosh dang, he was on our side. He was like, God bless, what the hell's going on here? You guys are like the poster child of doing this right. I mean, you're doing the branding, you're doing this, you know what you're doing. And so he would get, escalated up the ladder, and we would get things taken care of in a much faster way, but it was still just a constant. And we'd get something fixed, and then they'd take us down again for the exact same thing. We were authorized, all the way up to Amazon legal. They had to look at our labels, because at one point they're saying, you can't say this on the label. I'm like, yes, we can. This is FBA, this is this, and Amazon legal signed off on it. Like, we have letters from Amazon legal that he was able to escalate it up, and it would get suspended again, and then again, and then again. We'd be in the middle of a launch, and that's a competitive place. We're doing search, find, buys and spending $100,000 on a search, find, buy campaign to get launched. And halfway through that, boom, the listings are gone. That's just money just pissed away. I mean, you just taking it down the toilet and flushing it.
So,
and that happened 3 times. And it was frustrating. And then, then we had issues with UPS, where part of this was our growing pains. Some of our packaging it was good, but it wasn't up to the rigors of UPS. And so UPS was delivering stuff in trash bags. We had these big wipes, the big canister of industrial size wipes, and the bags that we put them in, we couldn't. There's nothing that the supply chain was bad. This is summer of 2020. Supply chain, you couldn't get stuff. So we found this guy who could put them in these bags and said they're completely waterproof, completely seal proof. Nothing will break through these. Turns out that was not the case. And when we tested, we dropped them, and it's still. But when they got into UPS and they're playing football with them and throwing them across the warehouse and doing whatever they do, some of them got damaged. And the national parks in Arizona, they ordered 25 cases of these from us. And we were selling them for $80. These were big, big industrial size, not little countertop. And so they ordered 25 boxes of these from us at $80 a piece. It's a couple $1,000 order. UPS shows up, delivers them in trash bags, literally in trash, in like big black trash bags, say, here you go, here's your order. And they sent us like, what is this? What kind of joke are you guys? They sent us messages. What kind of joke are you guys trying to play?
Oh my gosh.
We're like, what the hell happened here? We're freaking. We're like, it turns out that something leaked. One of these bags that were supposed to be indestructible inside the box leaked somewhere along the way. And so the bag leaked. So UPS, instead of just calling it damaged or whatever, went ahead and just someone in the line took it, threw it in a garbage bag, and delivered it. Stuck the label on the outside and delivered it to them. So of course that causes a complaint to Amazon. It causes us to get refunds. It causes them to not trust us. It was a nightmare. And then UPS still wants to bill us for the whole thing, and we argue with UPS and saying we're not paying for this. And UPS is saying, yes, you are. So still to this point, we refused to pay one of our UPS bills, and we said, screw you, up yours. We had multiple cases like this from some FBM stuff. And so we told them we're not paying it. And so UPS turned it over to a collection agency, and now that collections agency tried to collect it from us, and we're like, we're not paying you, and now they've turned it over to a lawyer, and that lawyer is suing a company that no longer exists. And I'm like, good luck, have fun.
Yeah.
Go to town. You're wasting your time. You're not gonna get a dime. But it's a mess. Freaking, I could go on. We could sit here for 5 hours, and I could tell stories about that will just, you'd be like, oh my god. And we were having a lot of people that are buying hand sanitizers. We were having issues with grandmas. There's a lot of grandmas, and nothing against old people or grandmas, but they're just not as savvy as some of us. They haven't been on the computer. This is their first or second or third order from Amazon. And so they're looking at our label. We showed the label. We were one of the only ones that showed our label on Amazon. All the people, you don't know what's in this stuff. You're buying stuff from China. You don't know what alcohol they're using. We showed the label, fully FDA approved. And the label, we said, we're using ethanol. That's one of the oils. One of the thing that the alcohols, and they would get it messed up with methanol with an M. So they put an M in front of it, the E, same spelling, but they would think that we're using that. And a big story came out in the press about how this stuff came out of Mexico that had methanol in it, and it's dangerous for you. And so they were freaking out, and they're like, you guys are selling stuff that's illegal. Amazon should ban you. They're writing, we're getting shut down again. And it was a nightmare. Living nightmare. There's more and more and more to this, but it was bad.
But at the end of the day, you will, and you just said that you'll still be selling on Amazon. Amazon is still the way to go.
Amazon is still the way to go. Walmart, I know your partner Tim and stuff, y'all talk about that. And Walmart has good opportunity, but it's a drop in the bucket for most people, depending on what you're selling. But
right.
For most people, it's a drop in the bucket compared to what Amazon is. Amazon is still the way to go, despite all these issues. And I'm at it again. We're doing something with Body Glove. It's officially licensed. We're like as top tier license as you can get. And we still have issues with Amazon, and still have to overcome those and fight it. And it's still, at the end of the day, it's still worth it.
Okay. So I do have a question about this. The product failed. It was just a pain in the butt for you. Did you ever consider going out to other distributors like Walmart, but going out to small mom and pop stores, or trying to do the bricks and mortar route? Because I've got all your product. You sent me over, a big sample pack of everything. We've got those big industrial containers. We use them. It's an awesome, absolutely incredible product. I thought you had a home run. Why wouldn't you have continued to do this with mom and pop shops? 300,000 of these little stores around the States right now. You guys had a competitive price. You had a great brand. Why wouldn't you go down that road?
We did. We actually had inroads we had meetings with Walmart. We had meetings with Costco. We had meetings with Office Depot. We were on Farrar.com. We were everywhere. The problem was the market was saturated. So by the time we realized, hey, we need to pivot here, this was the fall of 2020. And we were already talking with Walmart and stuff. They just wanted to see some reviews on Amazon, see a little bit of history. And they actually said our price point was too high for their stores, but they would test it online. And you could buy this, the market was oversaturated. All the buyers were like, no, we have enough of this hand sanitizer to last us for the next 10 years. They'd all overbought. So nobody wanted it, no matter what the price. We would go and say, we'll give it to you on consignment. Just try it. We know ours is better. The branding's better. Everything's better. We'll give it to you for this. We couldn't get rid of it. And even when we went to liquidation, we were selling stuff that our cost on it was $6, and we're saying, take it for 25 cents, 50 cents. No, very few people took it because the market was just so saturated. You go into any, here in the States at least, you go into any supermarket or any convenience store, there's just bins of this stuff just sitting there. When the pandemic first came out in March, April, May, you couldn't find the stuff. You're like, but by the summer, everybody and their brother was doing this, and every liquor manufacturer had switched to making this stuff. Everybody was doing it, and it just became too saturated. So we couldn't get in there. What we did have a few pallets left at our facility in Wisconsin where we were making stuff, and after about a year, that was able to go up on Walmart.com, and it sold out. So you could say, well, if we would have just sat on this stuff for 6 months or a year, maybe the market would have turned, but we couldn't because it's flammable. So the stuff is flammable, and Amazon, and also we were moving $40,000 a day through Amazon. They actually cut us back on flammable storage, on hazard goods storage, and we can't. That's why we had to switch to FBM, and then our guy Bondi, he got it raised back up, but it wasn't high enough, and so we couldn't keep it in stock. And because Amazon had the same issue that everybody sent in stuff, sent in hand sanitizer and wipes, and it filled up all their dangerous goods warehouses. And they're like, we don't want this shit in our warehouse. This could explode or catch on fire or whatever. And then we had a warehouse in a 3PL in the state of Washington that was holding all this stuff for us. And it was $1 million at our cost of inventory sitting in there. And the fire marshal was coming, and he's like, we were overflowing the warehouse into a second warehouse, and the first warehouse was fine, but the second warehouse was like, please don't go look in there, because and the fines could be severe. So we had no choice, and it's a hazard. This huge warehouse has got this, I don't remember what the square feet was, but we had 480 pallets, whatever that square footage is, of stuff stored, and all flammable. It's kind of freaking them out. So there's a lot of complexity to this.
I just want to thank you, because when Kelsey and I bought 3 or 4 containers of your product basically at zero and sold it to a Texas bank, they paid us tons of money. So thank you, Kevin.
I'm glad I can help. Yeah, you owe me a cigar.
All right. I want to talk about this other thing too, because we talk about resilience. You have to be resilient and there are going to be winners, there are going to be losers, there are going to be hangups. But once you can get past and get through some of this crap that you've gone through, there should be a good payday. And I want to talk about what you went through with this body glove thing.
Sure.
So we don't have to get into real specifics, but from what I understand, is that you ended up shipping the product to Chicago because you thought there was going to be problems getting it into port on Long Beach. Is that correct?
Well, we have a 3PL. Our 3PL for this is based in St. Louis. So they're in Missouri, and it's pretty close to Chicago. So Chicago port was the best port to send it to. And because everything was backed up in LA, so we're like, well, we just send it inland into Chicago. So we sent it inland. So it arrived in, I don't know, Long Beach or wherever, and got put on a train, and it's supposed to clear customs in Chicago, which is normal. This happens a lot of stuff. When it got to Chicago in late June of last year, there was some sort of issues with the Chicago rail yard. And I don't know the specifics exactly, but there were stories in Logistics Magazine and Chicago rail yard having problems with COVID and people hiring people and whatever. Backlog is 3,000 containers. Then it's the next week, 10,000 containers. It got to 80,000 container backlog. And we're calling, we're getting our 3PL, saying, what the hell? We're do we need to hire a Guido to go down there with a big bat and stand at the door, go find our container? It was bad. And all we could do was wait. I mean, we contacted, Unit Cargo. They weren't the shipper that we used, the company we used on this. I used them for some other stuff, but he was kind enough to come in and help, even though it wasn't his problem or his account. And we tried everything, and all we could do was just sit and wait. Because it was tied up in a big mess there, and it finally cleared in December, and it was bad. And to add insult to injury, we had 150 units, which is about eight cases or so, or 160 units. There's 20 to a case. Eight cases sent over to us by air in advance back in the summer, back in June, early June when it was finished, so we could have samples to send to like influencers and stuff like that. They shipped it to us by air, and when it came here, I had it shipped here to my. I don't have an office space. I work from home, so I had it shipped to, and I live in a condo building in downtown Austin, which is no problem to receive this, but the shipper messed up on the delivery. Instead of coming to my address, let's call it 123 Main Street, they actually went to 132 Main Street. Just inverse numbers. Well, 132 Main Street is an Indian restaurant. And so they delivered to this Indian restaurant, and the Indian restaurant, when they got it, they didn't know what the heck this is. What is this? We didn't order a bunch of dog life jackets. So they stuck it in the back outside next to their grease pits where they dump their grease, and the trucks come to pick the grease up and stuff. So it's sitting out next to the grease pit.
No.
It rained, a heavy rain, which came and rained on this pallet, just as a pallet, just sitting there. The pallet it rained on the pallet. It was covered in plastic and shrink wrap, but it still rained on it. And so I'm like trying to track this. It says it's delivered. I'm like, I didn't get anything. We finally figured it out. And so I go down the street. It's like 2 blocks down the street. I go down the street and like, hey, did y'all get some dog life jackets here? I'm like, yeah, there's some stuff in the bag. I don't know what that is. That's mine. Oh, go get it. No problem. It's yours. So I go back there and I see this big mess. I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. So I take them, undo the pallet, load up in my car, bring it back here I have a garage downstairs, bring it back in the garage, start opening these things up. Well, we were using, because it's a part of our thing is, we use plastic from the ocean. So the company that does this is, one of our specialties is everything that we make is 70 to 80% recycled ocean waste. So we take bottles from the ocean, like water bottles and other things from the ocean. They get made into fabric, and that goes 70 to 80% of all the products that we make for this company have recycled plastic in them. And as part of that, the plastic that we put around the product, the shrink wrap around each individual life jacket, we use this special type of plastic that's water soluble because it totally biodegrades. That's part of its catch. It's totally biodegradable. So you could throw this, in the toilet, and it's going to just basically turn back to hydrogen and atoms. It's not going to like clog up anything. It just completely dissolves. And so we use that as the wrap, for an environmentally friendly product. Well, the rain made this stuff melt. The water, it was a sticky mess. So we had to undo all this stuff to use for the influencers and like take that away. And it was just a mess. But that's business.
Yeah. But one other thing that ended up happening, I think this ended up happening, and this has to do, if you're getting into licensing, you have to understand that this is a reality. You have to guarantee certain sales with a license, don't you?
Yeah, we have, the way it works with this license is we had to guarantee $500,000 of sales the first year, $1 million the second year, and I think $2 million the third year. And so we have to, whether you hit that number or not, you have to pay a royalty. And the royalty is 6%. Plus there's some other little fees, but the actual straight up royalty is 6%. So basically on $500,000, you got to pay $30,000, guaranteed minimum. And you pay half of that up front when you get the license as a good faith payment.
Yep.
And the other half is due, towards the end of the year or whatever, a month after, whatever it is. It's around at the end of that first year. So despite us not selling anything last year, we had to pay $30,000 in licensing fees. And then, they understood. So we told them all the problems. So they loved the product. They're like, this is one of the best products in our line of everything that we do, because the quality is really top notch. And they then said, don't worry, we're going to push everything back for you. So they were very cooperative, but we still had to come out of pocket $30,000 with zero sales. It's another, and so that's basically money flushed down the toilet too. But the benefit is, now that we're about to launch, they have influencers and athletes that have 1 million followers on Instagram. They love the product, and so they're going to be taking the product out on their paddle boards or on their surfboards or to the beach. And these Instagram guys, or these athletes, will be saying, "Hey, look at this cool new product. You can get it on Amazon." So the launch is going to be very, very good, I think. And so that's part of it. Hey, Connie, how are you? Good to see you. So I think that's just part of it, you know. And then they already, another advantage is they deal with Walmart, the stores, and they said, look, this product's really good. If you can re-engineer this to get the cost down, because we're selling it for a premium on Amazon. If you can get the cost down, we think we can get this in Walmart, and they could do millions of dollars a year in sales on this product in the Walmart store. So they just had a meeting with Walmart last week and showed it to their buyers, you know, during the course of their showing other stuff. So, and there's interest there. So that's an advantage too. So that $30,000, you're basically buying your way in, you know, to something that could turn to millions of dollars. So it's not like total waste. But as a result of that, we can't get the cost down enough and we're making these in China right now. And with the duties, 25% Trump tax and the duties, plus the extended delay in shipping times and all that, we're actually are now working with Gemba to actually get these sourced and made in Latin America, either in Mexico or Colombia. And so we're re-switching the whole process to this one, and our next two products that are coming out after it are also in development right now. But that's delaying things because that process is about 7 months. But to do that whole process, it's not just like find a factory and have them make it next week. We got to like redesign everything, you know, for their factory, and get samples and get the process up and running and supply. So it's a very lengthy process of switching it. But in the end, it should save us a lot of money and shorten the lead times.
Okay, before we get to the next question, we've got a Wheel of Kelsey today. Hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. If you tag 2 people, you'll get an extra entry. It's basically a swag bag. We've got a free month over at Centurion. We've got a mug. We've got a keychain. We've got a box of chocolates. So it's an all-in-one swag bag. If you want it, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. Also, I wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow's $1 Billion Seller Summit is on. If you don't have a ticket, I think Kevin's got 1 or 2 left. It's not a scarcity thing. Once he hits 100, he cuts it off. I saw the emails coming from, hey, I got 20 left. Hey, I got 8 left. Hey, I've got 4 left. So there are 1 or 2 left. If you are interested, hit Kevin up. And let me see. Yes, Kels.
The swag bag is only for US and Canada too as well.
See, if it was up to me, it would be global.
Yeah.
But Kelsey,
Right.
Why you do that, I don't know. So if you're going to hate or be a hater, it's Kelsey. I would do it all over the world. But if it's Centurion League, by the way, if it is Centurion League, it's anywhere in the world. Okay, guys? All right. The other item I wanted to talk about is that we do have, and it should be starting today or tomorrow, the pricing up for the Mexico trip. So just go to themexicotrip.com, check it out if you're interested, fill out the form, and that's happening in April. So let's get over to a sponsor, and then we'll come back with Kevin. Meet Sellerize, a highly efficient suite of tools to boost your sales on Amazon. Get more customer reviews, rank higher, dominate the competition, just like the top sellers do. Sellerize is the perfect all-in-one solution to give your business the boost it needs. Get a free month trial by signing up with coupon Beard Nation. Just follow the link in this episode's description to get started now. You know, I just wanted to give another shout out to Tony Sagar if he's listening. We really appreciate everything that you did last week with your own personal giveaways. Very seldom people share their product, but for you also to give it away, you're awesome, Tony. So, and I know I've got your product here, and it is an awesome, well-branded product. So anyways, I just wanted to give you a quick shout out for that. All right, Kevin. So let's talk about some things that are happening. I don't know if you want to go down the new sort of product launch, what should you do, or any other tips or things that you're seeing trend-wise in Amazon. What do you want to tackle?
I don't know. I'm game for whatever. I don't know if we have any questions if we want to tackle that, or if you got something we want to talk about. I'm game for whatever.
Well, I'll throw that out there. Any questions, comments for Kevin? We're going to get to them in about 5 minutes because I know that there's usually quite a few. So throw them in there, and then we'll get right back to them. I'm thinking, like for my, I'm kind of curious. What are you doing right now for if you've got a product launch or a relaunch of a product? What are your steps that you're going through? What are you doing? What kind of traffic are you driving over? How do you create a successful launch in 2022?
Well, it depends on if you have a list or not. So that's a
Let's
huge.
say no list. Let's say you're fresh, new to Amazon. We just finished Freedom Ticket.
If you just finished Freedom Ticket and you're launching, I'm going to do my homework on my keywords and my brand analytics and everything that I show there. That's a whole different thing. And once I've figured out what the keywords are, I'm going to start by targeting the lower volume keywords or the higher SFR keywords. I'm not going to go after the big ones. I'm going to go after the stuff that has 300, 500, less than 1,000 searches per month. But starting with about 300 or 500, try to get ranked on those first. I'm going to make sure that I have whatever the big keywords are. They should be root keywords, so there should be versions of the smaller ones. But I'm going to try to make sure I have those, if possible, in the title and the bullets and stuff, so I'm indexed. But I'm going to be targeting those lower ones and I'm going to pick those based on the competition level. So I'm going to use brand analytics and the Helium 10 tools and some stuff to figure out. I think I can ease my way in onto these a little bit easier than these. I'm going to start there. Then I'm going to lower my price from, if my product's a $24.95 item, I'm going to lower it to $4.95 or even.
Okay, just a sec. Are you doing that directly under sale $24.97, or are you doing it through a digital coupon?
No coupon. I don't want to put any barrier up to where they've got to enter a coupon. Someone will forget to enter it. Someone will type it wrong. It doesn't work. No coupon.
Not even a digital coupon.
No, not even the little clip in the little click here. No coupon.
Okay.
Now, some people, you could do that if you want to, but I haven't actually tested that. Maybe I should test that, but no, I just lower it just so it's like just an incredible deal. So I have no reviews at this point either. I have sent out the product to the Vine review program, and hopefully I'm getting some nibbles there. It depends on your product. Sometimes they'll take all 30. That your max, you can give a max of 30. Sometimes they'll take them all. But if you're a product, the Vine people don't care about it. If they've seen 100 of these already come through, you might not get hardly any taken, and that kind of sucks. But hopefully you're getting some taken there. So starting that process. But right now you have 0 reviews, and so when someone and then I'm going to do top of search placement on PPC for whatever these secondary or keywords are, not the main big keywords, but secondary keywords. I'm going to bid on the main keywords. It's going to be a fairly low bid, but I'm going to go balls to the wall on these lower end keywords with high bids and a low price, so that I know that if I'm on the top of the page search and people see it and they see, oh, here's Kevin's new product and it has no reviews. I don't know about this, but look at the price. Everybody else is selling for $25, but this guy's $3. What the hell? I'll risk $3. I'll give this guy a shot for $3. So hopefully they click the ad, and the ad, therefore they buy. So therefore the ads are actually getting good conversion. So that's giving Amazon a good signal, like, hey, this ad is actually converting. We need to actually show it more. But then Amazon's going to look at, well, it's only selling for $3, so we're only making 45 cents on our commission on that. So that plays into it a little bit. Versus if they show somebody else's that's $24.95, and they're making the 15% on that, plus if their conversion rate's a little bit lower, Amazon's going to do the math and say this guy's still better to show. So you got to play with that a little bit, but hopefully you get some momentum going, and then you start to raise your price over $1 here, $1 there. Maybe for the first week it's still at $2.95, and I'm going in the hole big time. I mean, you're losing money on this.
But you would with rebates anyway, right?
You would if you're paying somebody $10 or $15. I think the lowest I ever saw rebates go was like for $4 or $5 if you bought a huge amount in bulk. But most of them were charging in the range of $10 to $15. Plus you're paying that money out. Plus you're losing the cost of the goods and everything. So you're still losing money. At the end of the day, it's similar amount of money that you're losing, but that will actually then hopefully get the momentum going while the reviews are coming in, and then you can slowly raise your price up as the reviews start to come in. Then slowly raise your price up, and that's how I'm doing it right now. And then I'm going after the bigger keywords. It might be 3 months or 6 months. Now, if you have a huge budget, if I was launching hand sanitizer like we talked about earlier, I can't do it.
If it wasn't suspended.
If it wasn't suspended, I would have to go and do this balls to the wall on everything from the get go. But that takes a serious amount of money. But I'm talking about someone with a much more restricted budget. But you're still, you could easily go in the hole $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to try to launch this thing, maybe more, and it may not work. You may, start getting bad reviews if your product's not good. You may start, it may not fully work, and you may have to, like you said earlier, cut and move on to something else. It's a risk, and it's becoming more that way on Amazon. But and then if I have the ability to create in advance, if I've got time, if it's going to take me 6 months to launch my product, and I'm working on the design, work on the factory, getting everything going, I'm going to try to start building a social media a website. And so if I'm selling dog leashes, I'm not going to go create a dog leash Facebook group. I'm going to create a Facebook group about dogs and people that walk dogs or something like that, and try to build something there. That's a lot of work though. And you hear people talk about this all the time. It doesn't work for most people. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can make this work. You might have to hire an agency or somebody to help you do that. But the average guy that has no experience in this is going to have a difficult time building an audience. And you might build an audience of several hundred people or followers on your Facebook group, but even then, that doesn't mean they're going to buy anything. As soon as you come out with your dog leash, say, hey, everybody, I got 1,000 people in my Facebook group of dog lovers. Come support us. We have this new dog leash we just launched on Amazon. You might get 5 or 10 of them to go buy it. If you're lucky, you get 50 or 100 of them. But that's all in you and how you run the website, how you run the Facebook group and stuff. And a lot of people, I think, miss that it's not that easy to do that. People always, you see them doing presentations and saying, oh, you just got to build an audience. You got to do this. It's not easy to do that. Not an audience that converts. Anybody can get followers. Anybody can pay for followers. Anybody can buy followers. You see a lot of these Instagram people that have 10, 20,000 followers. But look at the engagement. It's next to nothing.
Right.
It's all about the engagement and the interactivity and how well do they identify with you and with your message and whatever your theme is. And if you're very good at that, it's like a people person. If I'm there's some people that can go to a party and they're a people person. They're going to know everybody there by the end of that party. And there's other people that go and they go to the same party and they stand in the corner and hardly talk to anybody, just talk to their buddy that they came with and have some drinks. You need a people person, to drive social media. And if you're not that person or don't know how to do that, you got to partner with someone else, or you're going to have a hard time. So it's difficult. The easiest way to launch is if you have your own list. If you've been selling for a while and you've been doing this right, doing inserts, creating lists of buyers, not of just people. There's a difference. The people, full price buyers, not discount buyers, where you have something from 3 years ago where everybody bought it at 80% off. That list is worthless. It may be good for launching initially at a discount, but those discount ways don't work anymore. But you need a list of people that are passionate about your subject and your product and are willing to buy it pretty close to full price, if not at full price. And that's how we do the calendar business that I do. We have a list. I have 13,000 people on that list. These are buyers. These are not people that signed up and registered a warranty. They have actually given me personally, well, not me personally, but my company personally has sent a check or a credit card. They've actually bought. And so I can take that list and say, and what I do is I segment it. I don't send all 13,000 say go buy it on Amazon. I take about 1,000 of them to launch it, and just random 1,000 and say, hey, if you got this product, you can buy it from us and you can pay $19.95 for your calendar plus $9.95 shipping. Or I tell you what, for the next 3 days, go buy it on Amazon, and we've lowered the price from $19.95 to $14.95 for you. Go buy it there, and if you have a Prime account, it's free shipping. And a lot of them do. And what they do is they go and buy it, and we have multiple calendars. They buy them all. A lot of them buy them all, and so they get in the frequently bought together. The customers reviewed this, viewed that, and we can launch that in 3 days with no PPC. We never do PPC on it. There's no PPC whatsoever on it. No other launch, no search on buy, no nothing, and we sell tens of thousands of dollars a month. On actually a lot more than that. We sell well into a very good 6 figures of sales on that.
I had no idea that the private label Legion Tim and Norm calendar sold that many.
Yeah, it did. I had a lot of returns though. Yeah, the return rate was through the roof, man. some of them were coming back with like big
no,
Sharpie markers like scratched out on them.
Tim, they scratched out Tim.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't even resell those on eBay or anything.
Oh my gosh.
Those away.
All right, next question. Okay, Kelsey, I think we have probably one or two questions.
Yeah, just we got a couple here. All right. So I don't even know where to start. We got so many. But all right, from Manny, she was first in. How often can you combine two ASINs, piggyback until the fresh ASINs gets a few reviews and separate them without anything going wrong? For example, losing all the reviews. Thank you.
Yeah, you can put variations together sometimes if they're related. I mean, you see sometimes people will do this on unrelated products, and Amazon doesn't like that. It can get you actually in trouble. You may get away with it, but they don't like it, and customers don't like it either. But if you're launching a new color or a new size or something, there's nothing wrong with combining them under a parent-child relationship, so they can kind of share the reviews, and you can separate them later. And when you separate them, the reviews will go with which they will separate properly. In most cases, I've never had a problem. I'm not going to say it doesn't have happened, but I've never had a problem doing that. So that could be an option if they're related. Unless you don't want to play by the rules and you're going to put your spatula with your garbage disposal on the same listing, that's up to you.
Right. Okay.
Okay, next one. What variables are you considering when launching a new product as a variation of existing listings versus a standalone ASIN?
Well, like we just talked about, it's usually better to put them together because the new one that way can share the reviews. I mean, the advantage of doing them standalone is it's more real estate, but you're going to have to get the new one launched and get it validated with Amazon's algorithm that it actually should belong there. So it's usually easier to come in with as a variation, in my experience.
And I think this is also what the question is about. I think if you want to go out and find other variables, like what to consider, you can take a look at your competitors and see what the frequently bought together is, or what's it called? Opportunity Explorer. And it'll show you some options that you can have to add if you're trying to expand that ASIN or the next product you want to launch. I think that's answering the question.
Okay, great. Next one. How would you test a secondary image order in an Amazon listing? Would you use PickFu or something else?
Yeah, I would probably use PickFu or the Helium 10's audience tool, which is the same as PickFu. That's probably how I would test that. And sometimes the secondary image might be, if I was testing my main image and they're different images. It's not just I'm turning it 10 degrees or something, but they're actually one has the packaging, one doesn't, or one has a person in it, one doesn't. I might actually, and they come in close. One is close. One of them has got 40%, one of them's got 38%. Or something of the vote, and they're really close neck and neck. I would consider using the second place when it's my secondary image.
So what about Amazon's A/B, like this split experiment?
You can't do that with image.
You can't do it with images?
Not 1 through. So you can do it with the main image.
Yeah.
And you can do it with A+ content, which is images, but not that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of how you can do it with positions 1 through 7, just switching them around in there. I'm not aware of that. Unless maybe I'm mistaken, but
I might be. I know that you can do it 100% with the primary.
Yeah, 100 the primary for sure.
Yeah,
but I don't know that you can with the order of the others.
I'll have to check that out. But yeah, that's I thought you could, but I'm probably wrong. I always am.
That's not true. You're not always wrong.
All right, the next question is from Jessica Rabbit. In hindsight, were there any steps or actions you could have taken to avoid the germ shark debacle? Any suggestions for us neophytes on things to alert ourselves to do with Amazon to avoid disaster?
Yeah, I mean, we did everything right on that. I mean, we got in the COVID store, we did everything right. Probably the number one thing, if I had to say, is we overbought inventory. We got over we did our projections based on what we were doing. We were doing $40,000 a day in July of 2020. So we're like, okay, we need to order. We're coming out with a new product. We fixed some of the problems that people are complaining about. Let's order, whatever the number was of this. We should have probably cut that in half. But we should have put in a factor in there of what if this goes upside down. But at the time, we decided to roll the dice. Like, well, if it goes upside down, we'll just sell it to Walmart, or we'll sell it somewhere else. We'll be able to, like what Norm was saying earlier, we'll be able to dump it somewhere else. And we didn't think about the oversaturation that's going to occur. We didn't, at that point, just nobody could get it. We're like, let's just get it. So that's probably the number one mistake we made, is overbuying inventory. If we wouldn't have overbought, I mean, there's a point where we're like, no, let's cut this second shipment of this one, and we'll save us $300,000 that we would have not had to give away.
Right.
And in retrospect, we wish we did that, but what if we didn't do that and this stuff still sold gangbusters and we left money on the table? So it's a balancing act, and we took the risk. We could afford to take the risk, so it wasn't going to change our life. We didn't mortgage our house. We didn't, go into personal debt on credit cards or something like that to make this happen. And yeah, it sucks. I'm having to pay $7,500 every 2 weeks to, I got a few more months of that before that's paid off. That sucks. It's not changing my lifestyle, or it's changing some money that I could save, to put for retirement or something like that. But it's not changing anything in my lifestyle. So that's where I would be very cautious, is don't do something don't take a risk that could be, if it goes wrong, could be so drastic that it puts you on the street or screws up your 401k or something like that.
Yeah. The other thing is risk evaluation. If you're going after Kevin and his partners, they're experts, and they could go after a really competitive field. They did the analysis. Some of these things came up, and just, you couldn't be prepared for some of the things. But for me, if I was looking at launching a product and I was newer or intermediate cash flow, it just depends on, what your risk is. Going into some of these competitive fields, supplements, what you were looking at, fidget spinners. If you were coming in at the height of fidget spinners, you knew even before they got banned that they were going to be a problem, because everybody was coming into the market with them. So those are sort of the things I would have avoided on this. And I might be completely wrong. You guys were looking at it. You saw an opportunity. You saw an opportunity that you could brand it differently. You can get a better price, higher perceived value, and you could just kill it. And you started off doing that, $40,000 a day when you launched it. But some of these things, some of these items that came up with Amazon, nobody could have thought could happen.
And there's stuff that we had never dealt with. We had never dealt with mixing alcohol and having hazardous goods shipped just to get.
I've seen you mix alcohol.
Well, we never had hazardous goods shipped from China, so we didn't know. Oh, there's only certain ships that'll take it, certain regulations, and then we didn't know, like on wipes. Wipes are regulated by two different government bodies in the U.S. If the wipe goes on your skin, if you wipe in your hands, it's regulated by the FDA. But if it goes on the surface to wipe a counter or something, it's regulated by the EPA. The EPA requires about a $250,000 license and several months of process and testing to get that. Versus the FDA basically doesn't. You can just sell it. We registered and stuff and with the FDA and did all the proper documents and everything there, but it's not as regulated. And then, so what you say in your listing, if you say that's antibacterial, you get a pesticide warning.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is not a pesticide. We're not killing plants here. We're trying to kill a coronavirus or whatever. And that goes under the EPA. So you couldn't say certain words. You couldn't have them on your packaging. You couldn't, so you get flagged, and so there's certain things that we didn't know. We went through all the steps where we got the state of Texas Agricultural Commission to actually send us a letter and say, no, you're not classified as a pesticide. You're this and this. And had to send that to Amazon each time we had I had it in a little folder on my desktop, Amazon shutdown documents. So I just forward those right away to whenever it happened. There's a learning curve there too of things that we were learning on the fly and very fastly.
Okay. Next question.
Okay, our next question, just a second. It's a two-parter from Elchin. Hi all, thank you for the session. I have a new product, which is an issue about indexing. It's not indexed 90% of keywords, which I used in listing as phrase, so title, search term, and bullets. I changed the category also, changed the title, search term, etc. Amazon case said it's searchable, but not shown when you check manually in H10 index checker. Do you have any suggestions?
So you're probably missing, if you said that this is usually a category related issue where you're in a category where Amazon doesn't recognize those keywords as relevant. They want to make sure Amazon has a master list of keywords that are relevant for different categories that are human input and updated over time. And so they don't want you, if you're selling a Christmas item, they don't want you to show up during Easter, for example, or something. So they have certain keywords that are regulated or controlled that way. So, but you said you changed the category and you updated the category. So it sounds like this is a technical issue with a node, what's called a node, NODE-ID. There's something probably amiss and just some sort of technical issue, some sort of bug in your listing that needs to be cleared out. So that's causing that node ID to not associate with your listing. Even though it shows you're in a category, there's something that's causing it. I would try using a flat file if you're comfortable with that and rewriting your listing using a flat file upload and see if that doesn't overwrite everything. That could fix the problem. If that doesn't fix the problem, you'll need to open a ticket with seller support and say, hey, I think I have a node issue. I'm just not indexing at all. I should index. Other people in this category are indexing for this. Can you please check my node IDs and refresh them and refresh my category? It should be this category. And that should fix the problem. In a worst case, you might have to delete the listing and bring it back. You'll use the same SKU. So if you have inventory in Amazon, it's okay. You can delete the listing and then add it back as a brand new listing. But when you add it back, be sure you use the exact same SKU and that'll tie your inventory back together. And that might refresh it. But don't do that until you try the reaching out to seller support with the node issue thing.
Yeah, Vanessa Hung was on and she was talking about flat files. If you have any, if you want to get a kind of a refresher course on it, just listen to that podcast and that should be able to help you out.
Yeah, Vanessa knows what she deals with that stuff day in, day out. She's really good at flat files. And if you're coming to the $1 Billion Seller Summit, you might learn a thing or two about flat files and some magic there too.
Is Vanessa going to be there?
I don't know. We'll see.
Oh yeah, you're not telling this.
I don't announce the speakers. For all I know, Norm, you're speaking. You just don't know it yet.
Oh, all right. Yeah. That's usually what you do. You give me 24 hours notice, but all right, Cal.
You don't announce for the $1 Billion Seller Summit. I announce topics, but nobody knows. I mean, unless someone's personally told you, nobody knows who's speaking.
I think I have an in over there.
I do it. I do that for the virtual one. Now, for the in-person one, I announce them in the past, but this next year I may not. Also,
Really?
Keep it, yeah. But see, a lot of people they do virtual sessions or virtual summits or whatever, and they're depending on the speakers to drive their traffic. So they like you get all these graphics. You get, hey, I'm doing a whatever sourcing with Johnny today. Come see me, and they send you a nice picture graphic, and they want you to link back, and they give you an affiliate link. I don't like doing that. I want the content to be the king. Not the speakers are awesome people, but when you're doing a virtual event, it's about the content. We do networking and stuff too. When it's an in-person event, it's a lot about the networking. So it's two different audiences, and so and then I don't publish a schedule. I don't say Johnny is speaking at 10:15 and Susan's speaking at 12 and Karen is speaking at 3. You don't know who's speaking when. The only person that knows when they're speaking is the speaker. So that way people can't cherry pick. They're like, I don't want to listen to Johnny. I've heard him before, but you don't know what he's going to say. So that way you're on the edge of your seat. All right, what's coming next? What's coming next? And it increases the participation, the networking and everything, and it increases retention from a learning point of view too.
Yeah,
it's
I can also
deliberate. You know, the website, $1 Billion Seller Summit's a 1990s HTML page.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go there, it's like everybody creates these fancy websites with graphics and everything, and it looks like something from the 1990s, and that's on purpose too. You know, it's all about the content, but when you get into the event, it's a whole different world, and that's where we spend the money.
You know, this is not, I don't get anything for pitching BDSS. I've never had an affiliate link. We pitch it because it's a great event each time, virtual or live. I do know that you put me through hell every time I speak, because you always tell me I've got to bring a game, that I've got to change, you know, I've got to come with a new topic I've never talked about. And that's what it's all about. Like when you go to your event, there's a couple of events out there, but when I think of higher end events, I think of the BDSS. I think of being able to walk away with a ton of new networks. And by the way, I haven't told you this, but because of BDSS, when I was on the cruise, I just I think it's going to be a huge deal with somebody that I met at your event for a new product that we're bringing out, a new manufacturer. You know her. I'll talk to you more about it later, but it's all because I met her at the BDSS event. So these are the things that not only do you learn new, really great high-level content. This isn't beginners. This is higher level content, but the networking, even within the virtual summit, you get to network, and it's so great. I met at your summit. I also met the virtual one last year. I met somebody that was in the audience that we've become very good friends, and she's helping me out with my cigar podcast.
Awesome.
So, you know, I highly recommend these events. You didn't know I was going to be talking about this. It just kind of went down this rabbit hole. But guys, if you get a chance, go to events wherever you're comfortable, you know, beginner, intermediate, get into masterminds. And if you do get a chance to go out to the higher end events, usually it's worth every penny. These higher end events, people deliver.
And like you said, if you're a beginner, you can go to shows like the Prosper Show.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late for you to make it to that. You know, Helium 10 is doing an event in September called Sell, SELL, and Scale. They're expecting it to be the biggest one in the space. They're spending millions of dollars on the budget to put this thing on. It's expecting hopefully about 2,500 people, and they're going to have tracks. They're going to have there's like 50 speakers going to be speaking at it. They're going to have a beginner's track. So if you're brand new, they're going to have an intermediate track and an advanced track. So you'll be able to go through and get the help that you need. It's going to be at the Virgin Hotel, which used to be the Hard Rock in Vegas.
Yeah.
They're also bringing in not just Amazon people, you know, but they're bringing in. They'll announce this in a few weeks, but some pretty big wig people that you're going to know the name of that are going to be speaking here that aren't Amazon sellers. Pretty impressive keynotes. That's a lot of people want to be there just
right.
to hear what these. I'll let them announce who it is. I know who a few of them are, and it's pretty cool. But those types of events would be great to get out to.
Big names out of the space. Yeah.
Yeah, big, really big.
Okay, so let's get back to some of these questions.
We are.
Kevin, how much time do you have?
I got a couple more minutes. Yeah, sure.
All right, let's get to a couple more questions then.
Okay, from Ionitz. As a beginner, can FBA work without a trademark? Shall we get TM and BR right away before launching, or is it still okay to get it after idea validation?
I recommend you do it right away, even if your product fails. You don't have to go and spend the thousands of dollars with an attorney. You can, and that's the best way if you have the budget. But you can file a trademark for $325 in the U.S. And Legal Sherpa, I think they charge like $89 or something. They have some different packages, but they have like an $89 package that they'll kind of handhold you a little bit. Doing so, if you have the $400, $500, let's call it $500, and you have that in your budget, I would recommend you do it. And the reason, even if the product fails, and you're like, well, I just wasted $500 on a trademark. The reason I recommend you do that is because it opens up brand registry, and brand registry gives you a lot of additional research tools on Amazon, gives you a lot of additional ways to make your product, give your product a better chance with the A+ content, with video advertising, with a lot of stuff. If you're on a super tight budget and $500 is just gonna break you, then yeah, go ahead and try without it. But you may have to change it later anyway. Maybe the name that you're choosing, if you haven't done at least research to see if it's even available, and you get listing on Amazon, you start taking off, and you got your product made with that name on it. And your Amazon seller account is set up with that name. Then you're gonna want to go back and change it later.
Right.
It's gonna create some potential problems. So I would highly advise you do it from the get-go. And if you're concerned, well, I don't know if this product is going to really, this idea validation is going to really work, do something, a generic trademark. Don't call, if you're selling ice cream scoops, don't call it Roman's ice cream scoops as your trademark. Call it something Romanesque or something. I don't know, something that could be applied to different categories. Now, when you file your trademark, you're going to have to choose a category. So you may choose, ice cream or kitchen tools or whatever. And if later on you're going to sell auto parts, you're going to have to go back and add a classification to your trademark for, I think it's $100 or something like that. If it's available, you can add another classification. You might have to do that later, but that's a way if to hedge your bets. If you're really worried about it, is do a little bit more generic trademark. Choose the category that you're going to go into, and if it doesn't work and you switch categories later, hopefully that's available in that other category, and just add that category onto it.
Okay, next question.
Okay, this one's from Jerry. Wow, another great show. Can you give me a checklist or a SOP for a successful operation? Is there anything?
Norm's the SOP guy. He has SOPs for how to get coffee and everything.
Yep, everything.
Okay.
And also, hey, I do have to give a shout out to him. Hey, Jerry, how's it going? My old Army buddy. So line, bubble, line, buddy. All right, here's where you go. You go to Flowster. And Flowster, if you want to check, they do have a full set of Amazon SOPs set up. And you can contact them. I think, Kelsey, if I think we have some sort of discount with Flowster. I'm not 100% sure, but if you contact them and say you're with Lunch with Norm, you might get a discount. I think there's a discount associated with any premium SOPs over there. And they're all laid out for you. They're all pretty good. We do them as we go. Like Kevin said, anything we repeat, like making a cup of coffee, we have an SOP for.
There you go.
All right, there we go. And I think that's it for today. Is that right, Kels?
I mean, yeah, we can cut it off here. There's a ton of questions. So it is getting, we're 10 past now. So yeah, it's up to you guys.
Yeah, I do have to run to something else here shortly, but
yep.
Okay. Well,
so why don't we cut it off for the day? There's a bunch of questions we can post into the group, and yeah, let's have a final word from our sponsor, and then we'll head over to the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right.
A big thank you to our sponsor, Startup Club, the largest club on Clubhouse with over 790,000 members and growing. They're one of the world's largest communities supporting the startup ecosystem, from founders to those wishing to work for a startup and everything in between. You can find them at www.startup.club for blogs, recordings, and a calendar of upcoming shows, and on the Clubhouse app. Just search Startup Club for daily shows 24/7. You can also now listen to their show, the Serial Entrepreneur Club podcast, on Apple and Spotify too. Stop by to connect, learn, and grow together. You know what? So
Yes.
During the cruise, they hit over 800,000 people in this startup room, our club. So that's pretty cool. All right. Is it that time?
It's the time, the Wheel of Kelsey. Here we go.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right, everyone, we're here, the Wheel of Kelsey. I just want to double check and make sure I got everyone's names. Sarah just squeaked in. And all right, let me see.
Oh, Andy too. You got to get Andy in there.
Okay, so let me shuffle these up. This is for the free month of Centurion and Lunch with Norm goodie bag. So let's see. So if you are the winner, please email me k@lunchwithnorm.com. And it looks like the winner
we got here?
is. Oh, Manny just squeaked in.
Oh, congrats, Manny.
All right, so Manny, I have your info. So
Now I think
Congratulations.
Manny's in Germany.
that's right.
So we'll have to spin again because that's the Centurion League.
Okay.
You want to do this again? I'm just saying, I know Kevin's got to go and he was supposed to be on a call 5 minutes ago, but we always like to make Kevin wait.
All right.
Kevin, while we're waiting, we are going to have to go for a cigar, when we hit Vegas,
That's true.
or 2 or 3.
Yeah, or 4.
Yeah.
And I actually have something for you. You'll see when I see you in Vegas. I have a little surprise for you.
Uh-oh.
It's not a cigar.
Is it okay? I hope it's not booby trapped.
No, it's not a cigar. But it's something I think you might like.
All right. Super.
Okay, so here we go. So Manny will still get the Centurion League, of
Absolutely.
course. For the giveaway, for the Lunch with Norm giveaway, we'll see.
We
if
know our community. Who got
Kevin G.
Kevin G? All right, Kevin.
So that is Kevin from YouTube. So I think this is a new user. So please email me k@lunchwithnorm.com and we'll connect you with your prize. And congratulations, Manny, as well. And we'll get you that Centurion League.
There we go. All right. So that's it for today's show. Kevin, thank you, sir.
Of course, it's always a pleasure. Always fun to come on here. The time passes really fast. I look up and it's like an hour. I'm like, what? We just started.
I know. I can't wait till next month. But no, once again, I really do. I know that you're busy. And for you to take an hour out of your time each month, it's a lot. It means a lot to us. So thank you, sir.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Okay, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed the show today. We have our really great show coming up. Is this correct? I have it on my calendar as Tuesday.
Oh, Wednesday. Should say Wednesday.
Cheap help. Cheap help. Okay, so on Wednesday, our regular time, Tim Jordan and Amy Weiss are going to be joining us about how and why we should be sourcing in Mexico. Coincidentally, we have a Mexico trade show and mastermind coming up. But anyways, Tim Jordan, Amy Weiss is going to be on Wednesday. Kels, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I don't think so. Just I know we had tons of questions today, so unfortunately we missed quite a few. But if you head over to our Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and eCommerce Collective, you can post your questions there. We've got a great community where our group is always helping each other out, so you can post over there. And yeah, thank you, everyone. We got tons of new people joining us today, so hopefully you learned something new and valuable. And yeah, make sure you come back. The next episode, we have another Wheel of Kelsey prize for you. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you can always hang out with us on those days when you're free. And Andy, 4 a.m. in Brisbane. Whew. Thank you for watching. And yeah, I think that's it.
All right. So join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks for being part of the community. We absolutely could not do this without you, and enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you on Tuesday, Kels? No, Wednesday, right? Wednesday. That's the day you're supposed to be. Wednesday. We will see you then.
All right. I'm just going to hold this silence just for a little longer.
Okay. As long as you hold the silence, your pay is going down.
All right. And we're going here.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Lunch with the